Hi. In this video, we are going to see what is container queries and how we can use that on GreenShift. Container queries is, it's somewhat similar to media queries, but so far, for the last decade, we are using media queries to create responsive layouts. Now, the container queries, it's a more advanced version of media queries where, it has more advantage than media queries. For example, the media queries will work based on, the styles that we add through media queries will applied only through based on the viewport of the window, right? And maybe the viewport or the viewing device size. But here in the container queries, what it will do means we could assign styles to a element based on its parent bit. I mean the container wrapper that around that particular element with. Okay, so we could, for example, uh, we can say like, we could assign styles to a elements based on the width of its parent. Okay, I will in this video I'm going to explain, show you, layout how we can apply the container query, especially within GreenShift. At the moment, GreenShift editor doesn't have a specific option for the container queries. Okay, even most of the page builders that are present on the WordPress uh, don't have that option except H, which has inbuilt container query options. Okay, but in this video, I am going to explain how we can apply the container queries and what are the possible way which I found out. Maybe there are some other way also here, but the way which I found and it's worked for me, I'm going to explain here, and let's see. Okay, to demonstrate the container query, first let me create a simple block with a media, and it's a two-column block with the with the on the left side, we will have a image, on the right side we have a title and a short description. Okay, just a simple block, and see how we could assign the container queries in this use case. Okay, let me create a section first. Okay, under that, let me add a div. This will be our card. Okay, let me rename this to highlight card. And within this card, we will have a two column. So I'm going to create a two div element, and let me place this one. And this will be a media wrapper, which will hold the image element, and it should. Now I'm going to change this to figure instead of div. This better to wrap the image with the figure element. Okay, and leave here, and that will be change that into image. Okay, where is that image? Yeah, here it is, image element, and this will be just image. Okay, let me add a image that I have, just sample image that I got from data.blog WordPress blog. Okay, and here this is the content wrapper. Just I'm going to rename it, name it to create a BEM class in in our green set. Okay, and it will have heading tag as well as it will have a text element, a text. Okay, so this will be a H2 heading, and it will have a text. And let me copy this. Okay, suddenly my mouse is not working. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me copy the text that I have on my another window. Okay, and this will be a text. Okay, let me rename this to heading. Okay, and here this will be a text, and this will be text element. This will be paragraph tag, and it will be text. Okay, and let me copy a sample text from that website, and here it is. Okay, now we have created the basic elements here. Let's apply styles to this. Normally, normally we will use a GreenShift element panel to add the styles, but I recommend to usually I will add this through uh, custom styles. Okay, so I use style manager. Uh, you know Here I have used Style Manager, but most of the time I use a code synopsis plugin like VP Codebox to add the styles directly there, because that will give me even more control over the CSS, and I like to add CSS manually. Okay, so that only here, but you could apply the styles here. What I going to add in the Style Manager. Okay, okay. First, let me create this class here. Highlight card. Okay, and in this here, and I'm going to create a BIM class for all the class. Let me make sure I have a rename everything. Okay, yeah, I rename everything. Okay, and apply the auto class. Okay, now I think it had added the BIM class for all the elements. Yeah, it added. Okay, let me go to the style manager, and here we have a custom style option. By the way, let me, I have installed GreenShift Smart Code AI plugin along with the GreenShift Page Builder, because then only it will provide, the more option for the style manager. Okay, so that add-on provide more option, like we can uh, it will provide a syntax option for the CSS directly in the custom CSS. Okay, that is one of the reason I have used that. And here I have used VP Codebox, but I haven't used that in this tutorial. I'm not going to use that in this tutorial, but it's one of the go add-on for me. Okay, yeah. Okay, here let me type this code. Yeah, and this will be a two column. So let me make this as a display grid, and grid template column. It will be, yeah, max on FR, and max. Let me add to. Okay. Did I add it correctly? Not sure. Maybe I am wrong with that styles. Sometimes I get stuck with this thing. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. Columns. Oh, I just installed this. Yeah. Now I found that. Okay. And I'm going to add a gap of 30 pixels. Okay. Now we have a basic card layout. Okay. And if you see that on the front end, basic thing, right? Okay. Now if we usually what we will do means we will in the small screens, what we'll do means we will try to, okay, let me add more styles to this. But before that, usually we will add responsive label or responsive styles for each resolutions like 992, 768, and 480, something like that, right? And here, what we are going to do means we will do that, but with the container queries, so it will provide more options and it will solve a lot of things. Which I will explain in a minute. Okay, let me just I add a card size to the highlight card only. Let me add for the media wrapper here, media wrapper, and let me should be with 100% and height 100%. And I like to add as aspect ratio for that. So I like to be a square shape for this resolution. So like this. And for this, next I'm going to add the stats for the image. Uh, Here for the image, I think I just need to, set object fit a cover. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's come to the content wrapper. Here for the content wrapper, I let me make this as a flex, okay, and flex direction column, okay, yeah. Then if you see this, the styles that applied to the H2 from the uh, global slide, global style, okay, which I don't want the margin for the H2, okay. I could override that in the theme settings, but I let me do that directly here, okay. For that content wrapper and H2, I could do that like this, or let me make this as a heading. This styles, we can apply that to the directly to the class itself, okay. And the margin to 0, yeah, that's it. If you see, uh, and even we can make this justify content center. I just need to, yeah, I think we are good to go. Let me see what is happening here. Okay, why it is not applying? Okay, it's applying to post thing. Okay, okay, yeah, I be one thing wrong. Here, justify. Mm, let's create how we can justify is will it okay, let's remove this thing. We don't need to centerline this. Okay, let's let it be in the start itself. Okay. Okay. Now, just a basic card. Once we use the window, you can see here it is not displaying properly for the small resolution, right? Okay. Okay, that's fine. But for the desktop, it's displaying. Now, let's have another section. Okay. That section, in this section, I'm going to add a div wrapper. With this div wrapper as a multiple gates, okay, I'm going to add a div here and what to duplicate this, okay, and let us name this as a 3 columns, class. Okay. And in this three column class, what it will do means it will has three column child elements, three child elements. Okay, let me enlarge this. Now three. It will be a display grid, and it will have grid template columns. Repeat, min max, 0, 1, FR. Okay. So it will have three columns and a gap of 20 pixels. Just let's consider it's 20 pixels. You can see here. Now we have a three column, and we are going to duplicate this highlight card and put it under the one of the column. Okay. You can see here with it's at first itself we can see it's not displaying properly because it is queued within this layout. Now, normally what we will do means we will add a style uh, based on the three columns. If there is any highlight block under the three columns, make this row, make this as a one column and push this image at the top and push this content wrapper at the bottom of that. Like that we will do. Okay, but here is the use of container queries comes. Okay, I'm going to do one thing. How we can assign a container query? First, we have to address two things. First one, we have to add a container type to the parent wrapper. Okay, container type as an inline size to the parent wrapper. In our case, which will be a container inner wrapper, this will be the inner wrapper. Okay, I mean the container that wrap this highlight card, right? So we have to assign a container type inline to this. Then we could add styles based on that container. Okay, so let me add a class here. Let me name it as a contain. Okay, and in our style manager, oh, in our style manager, I'm going to contain. I'm going to add a styles container type as inline size. That's it. Now we have defined that the wrapper that around the highlight card has a container type inline. What it makes means it will automatically allow the child element, that is highlight card, to uh, check the width of the parent elements, its parent element, and we could assign styles to the highlight card based on that width of the parent element. Okay, here how we can define the container queries means it's simple as like we do for the media queries with then the specific value. Okay, here in our case, let's see how long this label is fine. Okay, I think it's, yeah, it is fine up to 850. Okay, even, yeah, 8. Okay, well, let us take it as 800. Okay, if a width is greater than you know like sometimes my mouse is not working properly here. Okay, here we could add width. Okay, as like media query, we can set it as a maximum width 800 pixel. Okay, I mean for the maximum width of 800 pixel, we are going to apply the styles. Okay, and these styles will apply only when this container, okay, the wrapper, the wrapper around this highlight card comes to the 800. If resize that container element is with this below the 800 pixel, then this style will apply. If it is greater than, then its default style will be applied like that. Okay. And let me before applying this, let me save this. Okay, and show that to you in the. You can see here in the desktop screen itself, it is not displaying fine. And okay, this what we did here, we have assigned a content class, and in that content class, we have a content type as inline, and we are going to change the layout of the highlight card based on the width of this width of this container box. Okay, I mean the div. Uh, Here we have added styles. Okay, it's very similar to the media queries. Just instead of media, we just container. But this is a very important step because we have to define that container type as an inline size for the parent element. Then only it will detect the size width of the dynamic width of the container and apply the styles. Okay, here for the highlight card, what we are going to do means highlight card. We are going to make this as a one column. Okay, and for the media wrapper, we are going to change the aspect ratio. Let me save this and see. But we won't see that the container queries that we have added here. The changes won't be visible on the GreenShift editor. I will explain why. Okay, before that, let us refresh the front end. You can see the styles that we have applied for the highlight card under this container applied correctly. Now we have to fix few issues that is comes from the aspect ratio. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the aspect ratio 16 by 9. Okay, and let's see at the front end. Yeah, now on the desktop screen itself, our highlight block, okay, it is displaying in two column. And for this, if it is put under the small box, then it automatically react based on it change that into one column like that. With the help of container queries, we can achieve like this. Okay, let me delete this, and we don't need this because I'm going to duplicate this thing and show it to you guys. Okay, I think I haven't added a gap. Did I add a gap to this? Yeah, gap of 20 pixel. Yeah, one thing. Here for the media wrapper, I have to set this as a overflow hidden because of the image. I think it is like this. Yeah. Okay. And of course, for this to make this 3 column as a 2 column, 1 column, we need media queries. Okay, we can achieve that with the content query also, but it's making more complex. So I think for this scenario, it's media query is the best option. For this, changing element uh, based on the parent wrapper, it will be very useful. For example, we are using the same highlight block. We haven't changed any element here or order. Just define the container query, then it automatically resize it based on that parent element. Okay. Okay. See now if I resize the window, still this, this plug doesn't change that into one column. Why? Because we haven't defined the parent element with the container type, right? So I'm going to do that same. Okay, here I'm going to add a contain class, which I have added. Okay, and save this and see here now. Automatically, it changed that into one column. It's a magic thing, but we need a lot of practice to use this and think about where we have to use container queries and where we have to use the media queries. It will be a debatable, and we have to decide about that. Okay, here even I could create another section and with a two column and put the same highlight block under this, and it will automatically change that into one column. Okay. Let me explain why the container query styles that we have applied here not displaying on the GreenShift, but it is on the front end, because GreenShift apply the styles that we defined here with the additional development. Okay, for example, you can see this editor style wrapper that comes with the GreenShift. Okay, the let me okay, here it is. This is our highlight block, right? You can see here, where is the highlight block? Let me find it. Okay. Okay. This is our highlight block, and its styles are based on that the styles that we have applied through the style manager is applying here. But there is additional the div class assigned to that. So the specificity of this is 2, and the container query that we have added has a specificity which is less than this one. Okay, this has 0, 2, 0, and it has 0, 1, 0. That is the reason why the container queries that we have added is not applying, not visible here, but it is on the front end is displaying. Okay, since GreenShift add extra wrapper around the extra class around the class that we had and apply the styles that we defined on the style manager, or even directly through the GreenShift element block. It is adding another div, another class. So the specificity is getting higher, and it is overriding the container class that we have added. Okay, that is the reason why we are not with those the container queries. Container queries are not displaying on the GreenShift editor. Hopefully, it will be fixed on GreenShift. Container queries are getting popular nowadays because it will solve a lot of problems. We don't need to add extra classes, extra styles to uh, each in each place where we use the same block. Okay, once we define a block and based on the parent wrapper, we can apply the styles. Then wherever we put the same block in which whatever layout we put, it will automatically resize and automatically display it as like it is based on the viewport, like that, like we do on media queries. Okay, this is just a workflow that I found, and it is useful for me when I use GreenShift. But however, I hope there might be a even a better approach. In case it is, please let me know in comments. I'm happy to learn about that and apply that on my projects. Yeah, if you have any questions, please free to comment on my, put a comment on below. And if you like my video, please like and share my video. Thank you.